This is a message to the young dancer who I saw in open ballet class. It's not that serious. And that's coming from someone who took herself and dance super seriously for a long time. But I mean it really isn't that serious in the sense that you have so much life ahead of you. And I used to find that kind of annoying when teachers would say that to me. But I really mean it. You have so much dance ahead of you, so many auditions and classes and performances. If you want that in your life, you also have so much other life ahead of you. Friendships and love and travel and learning, all of the above. And no one class, one audition, one turn or jump or combination is defining of you. And no one moment where your body doesn't do exactly, precisely what you want it to do, the moment you want it to do it, can be the defining thing of how you feel about yourself. It just can't be. So where is all this coming from? I was recently in an open adult ballet class. It was amazing. I love dance so much. And there was this young pre-professional dancer there who was very, very talented, beautiful facility, beautiful foundational technique, clearly very motivated and on a professional track. She had all the makings of a very, very high level professional dancer by absolutely any measure. But she kind of got me thinking about all of the things that we can't measure. Because as soon as combinations were finished, I saw her kind of shrink. I saw her hunch her shoulders, wrap her arms around herself. I saw her not cleanly finishing turns, not finishing them even despite falling out of them, possibly because of self-judgment, self-embarrassment, even, as deep as self-shame. There was just this self-harshness in her posture that I recognized immediately because I did that a lot. I still do that in a lot of aspects of my life, but that's not what this video is about. There's this truly bizarre thing that we do as dancers where we kind of apologize with our bodies. Probably a lot of people do this in different ways, but I know it to be true of dancers. There's kind of almost this self-deprecation type thing in our body language and like self-harshness when we know we didn't nail something. Like when a combination, a turn, whatever, doesn't go precisely how we wanted it to. I feel like a lot of dancers do this weird thing of before you're even off the dance floor, after you've fallen out of a turn, you kind of like signal to the room, to the teacher, to whoever you think is like in charge of your acceptability. You kind of signal, oh, I know that was shit. I know that wasn't good. It's almost like wanting to say it before anyone else can. Like before anyone else can judge you or correct you. You want to say with your body and signal like, ugh, I know that wasn't good. And in that way kind of say like, that wasn't the real me. Don't judge me for that. You don't need to tell me. I already know. Something like that. And because we're dancers, we say it with our bodies. It's in our posture when you fall out of a turn or just walking off the stage or the floor, not doing your, dorky little, just kidding, your proper little run off. It's in the way you collapse your posture, the way you walk off stage before the music ends. And that reaction does make total sense. It makes total sense to feel defeated or feel down, or almost like a self-betrayal or something if you didn't nail something like you're supposed to, or you've been trained to, or how you practiced it and were able to do it before. It can feel extremely personal, especially because dance isn't just a hobby for so many people. If it is, that's wonderful. But for so many people, it becomes a part of your identity. It is how you relate to the world. It's how you relate to yourself and your body. It's how you make friends. It's how you relate to your community. And it's how you relate to something greater than yourself. So of course it makes sense that those moments can feel truly like personal failures. But my God, if you are going to dance, if you're gonna dance in any way where you really, really try, you really try to push yourself, you really try to make it into a certain level, a certain group, etc., there is literally no way to get there without failure. So how can we depersonalize these quote unquote failures when they're not failures, because they're like an absolutely critical part of learning and growing? A little side tangent on failures with very specific movements like triple pirouettes. You can't get more motor bodily specific than that. In my neuro courses in physical therapy school, we learned that parts of the brain, back here, your basal ganglia, your cerebellum, parts of the brain cannot learn a difficult movement, a movement that requires high level coordination of lots of different body parts, lots of different muscles. It's incapable of learning to do that without failing at it first. That part of the brain requires the failure to be able to then self-modulate and self-correct. So on that science, neuro learning, neuroplasticity level, the expecting yourself to be perfect at every single second of every single day when you're trying to learn these really complex things literally doesn't make any motor learning sense a lot of the time. And then self-esteem wise, self-embodiment and personal growth wise, it doesn't make any sense to tie your entire self-worth to any single moment or any single skill. Maybe you were really, really good at nailing triple pirouettes until you hit puberty and your body totally changed. And that doesn't make you any less of a worthy, valid person, first of all, and dancer and artist, second of all. We're allowed to have a lot of different experiences within the same body as our bodies and selves change. And the thing with performing careers, especially when you're performing someone else's choreography and their choreography is their baby, they often expect consistency and expect you to be able to perform it at the highest level every night. I think as performers, we often hear the audience paid, I don't know, $65 more to be here tonight. You have to deliver. And while that is a part of the picture and one way to frame building consistency in your dance technique, your artistry, your ability to perform, I think that there are other ways to frame that, because when your self-worth, your identity, your worth as an artist become tied to one very specific moment on one very specific day. Your world gets kind of small when you're in that place and mindset. And when your world and your mental framework is very tight, very rigid, very attached to one way to reach an outcome, ironically, it can be sometimes harder to reach that outcome because you're sort of mentally blocking yourself from curiosity, from play, from that artistic growth process, as well as from the sort of playful, light, what if I nail this turn? What if I just try and nail it? The like positive what if that you kind of need in order to discover how to nail something. Does that make sense? Because the truth is, we are not going to be the same every single day. Some days you didn't get great sleep. Some days you didn't have your like lucky special meal before a performance because of whatever circumstances. Some days you're on your period and you're just like, what the heck? Like, things become harder. We are human beings. We aren't the same every day, and we need to have a variety of different tools, strategies, roadmaps to get to where we want to go to on any given day, because we might be coming from a different starting point. So like maybe the last 3 times I did this dance variation, I was in a very like intense, ready to go, locked in, more tight mindset and tight relationship to my body, and it worked. But then maybe a performance day comes and I'm on my period, I'm having cramps, or my body just feels a little different that day. And if I try to take the rigid road, I'm not going to be able to get right on that track that day. So basically, this is kind of a drawn out analogy, but what I mean is you need to be flexible to meet yourself where you are and be able to correct in real time so that you can get to from whatever point A is to point B. Because when you're dancing from a place of a lot of self-pressure, that's often reflected in our bodies. It's reflected in tension, maybe in like brittleness or limitedness to our movements. And we're not dancing from a free, open place where you can problem solve and you can meet yourself in the moment and like correct where your center is over your point shoe, because you're not tied to it feeling exactly like it felt yesterday. So basically, on those days when it doesn't feel like it did at rehearsal or like how you would want it to, take a few deep breaths, maybe do a visualization meditation, which I have a few of on this channel. Regardless, and I think a key is having curiosity in those moments about your body, not like attaching and committing to a self-defeated attitude, like this is going badly, today is going to go badly, but loosening that mindset a little bit through that deep breathing, through meditation, whatever. And just allow yourself the possibility. What if you can do it today? And maybe your internal mechanism, how it feels in your body, is a little bit different today. And I think that a harsh truth is that some of that curiosity on those days that you feel off, to access that curiosity, to some degree, you have to let go of getting it perfect and be okay with, if I don't land this turn perfect, it's not the end of the world. And that matters both emotionally and technically, because if we're stuck in feeling some kind of shame because we tie our self-worth to this thing we call ballet or this thing we call dance, then it's really, really hard to learn and grow and move on. Like, okay, I didn't nail that turn, move on. The next turn is a totally new one. Shame is not a great teacher. Shame tells us about our value system. It tells us that we care. We care a lot about dance, a lot about the art, a lot about it getting right, about getting it right. But shame makes us smaller. And we can't dance big and bright and beautiful from that place. Curiosity and self-compassion are where it's at. If you are dancing at any kind of high level, or just trying to get better at dance or literally anything, failure is part of it. It's part of the journey. Everyone experiences it. There is no way to get from beginner ballet to Tyler Peck or Misty Copeland or Judith Jamison without falling out of turn sometimes. So take your art form seriously. Take your love for it seriously. Even take your training very seriously. It requires a lot of discipline. But never ever take it so seriously that you beat yourself up over it. Because you are always, always, always worthy, regardless of your ability to land a turn on any given day. And the point of all of this, of all of the training, of all of the time and dedication and money and sacrifice, is not to be perfect. The point is not to be the same every single day. The point is to learn and grow and build a sustainable relationship with your body and with your art form and with your dance community. So here's to your thriving as a person and as a dancer. And I hope to see you soon. Follow Dancer's X-Ray for more pep talks, more visualizations, and more anatomy explanations. Love ya!